Hello and welcome to a movie review. I'm the Bulk and today we're going to be looking at The Mummy. This reboot of the series is directed by Alex Kurtzman and follows Nick Morton, a member of the US military. Now, his basic thing is that he goes around places that he happens to be posted and steals antiquities to sell them on to make a bit of money on the side. Now, following a treasure map that he stole from a one-night stand, he discovers the tomb of Princess Amenet of Egypt, a cursed member of the royal family with a very dark past. Now, when he unearths her, he also unleashes the ancient evil that she is connected to. So, what's good about this film? Well, Tom Cruise is as good as he ever is. He's very charismatic as Nick Morton. He brings that natural charm that he has as an actor to the role. His comedic timing is very good. He's very energetic. You feel it. He sells the action sequences because he does all of his own stunts, and you can tell because it's very authentic. He's just generally very good in this role. It's the type of role that you would expect him to have, though the character's dubious moral standpoint kind of is a bit different from what he normally does, but in general the character is sort of what he normally does, so he's very good in it, as he normally is. Sofia Boutella as the Mummy is also very good. She's very intimidating in the role. She sells the physicality of it. She brings emotion to the role, which I feel that any monster should have. It should have a bit of emotion to it. She sells the backstory quite well. She sells the idea of emotion and lust and everything like that, which is very hard to do. Makes you generally feel like this woman is sexually attracted to you or in love with you, so to speak. So it does come across very well and very strong. Her design is very interesting. Actually, it's grown on me quite a lot. I actually like the way it looks. Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is very good in this. I do like him. You see a lot more of Jekyll than you do of Hyde. Jekyll is very well presented. I like the tone of voice that he has. I like the comedic timing that he has as well, because they do give him a few little jokes as well that are quite good. He has certain scenes that are very well structured and very well put across. Now, when it comes to Hyde, I really like the way that they characterised him. I really like the accent they gave him. They gave him a really thick Cockney accent. His dialogue is alright for it, and there's a very good fight scene with Tom Cruise's character. But the only problem I have with it is I do not like the way he looked. Hyde looked atrocious. It looked awful. I mean, with Hyde, you've seen it many, many times. I'm a big fan of the character of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and we've seen it many times before. There have been so many different versions. Now, with his transformation, they were building up to be something. They had this brief setup for it, but then when in the actual scene, you think that they're going to reveal something completely monstrous, but all it is literally they just CGI'd these weird veins and pulsating muscle around his face and made his skin bluey reds and so forth, and it just didn't work for me. I really didn't like it. Again, I like the way he actually spoke, and I like the way that he was characterised, but I just hated the way he looked, and I felt it looked awful, and the CGI for it was crap. I mean, really, really bad. The other side of that, most of the designs and set pieces and costumes and so forth are really good. I loved Princess Amenet's tomb. That looked really good. Her sarcophagus is very well designed. I liked her design a lot. I felt that was really good. All the prologue stuff set in Egypt was really well good. The designs were really good for that. And in general, all the designs are really nice and actually very interesting. However, this film has some devastating negatives to it. And the biggest of that has to be the appallingly, atrociously, just massively awful script. I mean, it is bad. It is really crap writing. I mean, most of the dialogue I found was just bland. Some of it was alright. You can get away with about 40%, but there's a large chunk, there's 60% of it is just crap. It is really, really awful. They clearly don't know how to handle the emotional scenes that well. I really felt that they were lacking emotion in the scenes that they were trying to implement it in. I felt that certain dialogues for certain interesting characters like Jekyll and the Mummy weren't as well as they put across as they thought it would be. I found that Jenny, the female character, like the lead female character in this, just crap. I just felt her writing was awful. In general, the writing is just bad, really bad. And they felt the need for some reason to give you large scenes of exposition, which I don't mind most of the time. I know in a film like this you need to explain things like, oh, where does this society come from? Where does this mummy come from? What's the backstory to this? What's going to happen to you if this happens? Fine, I get it. But you're explaining things that either we already know or are not interesting. You explain the mummy's backstory at least twice, you explain Prodigium a few times, you state what's going to happen to Nick if the mummy gets hold of him quite a few times, and it's just not interesting, and you leave out these massive plot holes, like we don't know how certain objects get to certain places, we don't know why certain people know certain things, we don't know how, certain plot points work or certain mechanics work because they just don't bloody explain it. And to furthermore the awful execution, you have really, really, really bad CGI. Now, it's passable, but it's just crap. It is bloody awful. It looks like something out of like an Xbox 360 game. I do mind. Most people probably watch it and think, oh, okay, that's nice. But when you're a person who watches a lot of films, or just a person in general who likes their things they watch to have a certain amount of quality, it is awful. It is really awful. The zombie men that they have are just not interesting. Like they're cool looking, and the way that they work, and the way that like no matter how much you hit them, they keep coming at you. It's cool, but they just look awful. And again, like they just didn't finish off the CGI properly. Like again, the way they move and the way like the general designs are actually really good, but the way it's just awful. The weird eye thing that you saw of her in the trailer, where an eye splits into two, and she has like these two like eyes in one eye type thing. It looks all right in one or two shots, but because she has it all the time when she's in the full form mummy, when she fully resurrects herself and is in like the white skin version that you see in some of the trailers, it's nice, but it's because they insist on having it there. It just doesn't look nice. There's something off about the way her eyes look, and that stops the actress from being able to convey the right level of emotion. Like, she has to rely more on her facial features, and normally with an actor, they can tell a lot with their eyes. And in this, they just don't. They really don't, and they kill that revenue completely. I mentioned before how Hyde looks crap. He looks just awful. CGI animals, like rats and birds, look alright, but there's certain shots where they stand out like hell. I mean, Jesus. Sort of, if you've seen the movie Birdemic, like, to give you some context, the movie Birdemic, this really awful bird movie, they had, like, these birds that were clearly fake. I mean, very bloody clearly fake. There's this shot in the film where the birds look as fake as the birds in Birdemic. I'm not kidding you. Also, my other big pet peeve is I felt the ending was really bad. Like, I mean really bad. Because they have this really good story, and you get into the conclusion, you're thinking, okay, they actually set up what could have been a really cool, motivational, heart-pounding, emotional ending, and they completely stuff it up, because they do something which, to me, it didn't seem like his character would do. It did not seem like something that his character would do, or would ever be seen doing, and yet for some reason, they do it, and it kind of... I sort of get what they were trying to do with the emotional ending, like what he does a certain thing to do a certain thing. I get it. But you set up a better ending. A much better ending. But you sacrificed it just so you could set up the next bloody lot of films. And not even a way, like the Monster Hunting Society, which is involved, I actually liked, and I felt that was a good setup for the other films. But the way they altered the ending for this, the way that they had the ending, well, not saying altered, but like the way they had the ending, setting up a few things, no. Just no. I can't believe you went there. I felt you really did not, you really have not learnt from the previous Mummy movies. The previous Mummy movies, the way that the first one ended is sort of similar to this, so that they set up a sequel with the Mummy, but then again, in the sequel, they killed him off. And in this, I kind of felt that you would be done better by killing her off, but oh god, it did not work. The ending did not work for me. With all those negatives said and done, I have to say, there are a few things I like. Again, I like the general set designs and concepts and designs that they have. I felt the basic story was alright and really good. I like some of the performances, I felt they were really good. There was one shot in the beginning of the film where she's like the mummy's making like a deal with the Egyptian devil Set, and they actually got a man in makeup in a suit to perform Set, and that looked really good. So there are things to like in the film, and there's things that can make it enjoyable. As a whole, the film is sort of enjoyable. It is like you can just watch it and have fun with it. It has a lot going for it, but it just ponders it in some really bad execution. So for that reason, I will give the film a 5 out of 10. So, thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please give that like and subscribe button a little tickle, and I'll be seeing you next time. Goodbye.